Sean Kim is an entrepreneur and part-time adventurer. He was obsessed with the idea of taking a trip around the world, learning Spanish, and stopping scaring people with his nightmarish salsa performance. A couple of years ago, when Sean's life was not going the way he wanted, he decided to make his own growth list, where he wrote down all the goals he would like to achieve in the near future. In first place in this peculiar ranking was a great trip. He has traveled to many cities in various parts of the world: Paris, Munich, Buenos Aires, Cusco, Medellin, New York, etc. Here are the important lessons Sean Kim has learned as he traveled the world alone. 1. You will hate being alone with all your heart. Getting off the plane onto the land of some unfamiliar country, you will be worried, nervous, and feel incredibly lonely. Don't panic. All travelers had a chance to experience this conflicting range of feelings at the beginning of their adventures. 2. Then you will fall in love with being alone madly. You will begin to enjoy being alone. Think about it. Is there anything more beautiful than freedom and the ability to do what you want when you like it? 3. You will get rid of the power of things. The transition from the comfort of living in your own home and driving your car to a semi-reclusive lifestyle with a backpack on your back, after a while, will allow you to understand how great the power of things was over you. Things tend to deteriorate, which cannot be said about the experience and impressions gained. You will understand what is more important to you. 4. You will understand that quality is better than quantity. We live in a world ruled by numbers. And the higher the number, the better. Everything is calculable. The number of friends and social networks, the more, the better. You remember, right? A tidy sum in a bank account. The number of floors in the tallest skyscraper. The same goes for the number of places you have visited. It is much better to spend 3 months in one city, wholly immersed in its culture and atmosphere, than to try to conquer a dozen simultaneously with your tongue on your shoulder. 5. You will learn a new language. Realizing how big the world is and what kind of soap bubble you live in will come only when you start traveling. For example, you will be able to communicate freely with only 12% of the people worldwide if you can only speak English. The best way to understand the remaining 88% is to learn another language. Knowing Spanish doubles your chances of being understood by the rest of the world. Each of us has access to the internet, which automatically negates all attempts to justify our laziness by the lack of opportunities to learn a language. There are no barriers left. You can practice anytime, anywhere. Living in a multilingual world automatically imposes certain obligations on us. 6. You will learn to love yourself. Traveling alone is time that you can spend alone with yourself. You will get the most incredible opportunity to be alone with your innermost thoughts and experiences. This challenging test will be a precious lesson for you. 7. You will understand that you do not owe anything to anyone. There is a vast difference between internal and external self-confidence. External confidence can be faked, and you need to be able to constantly control it so as not to lose face in front of others. What is more important is your inner confidence. Stop worrying about what other people think of you. It takes too much energy. Focus on what you want and just do it. 8. Being honest about your successes and failures is important. When you travel alone, the responsibility for making decisions falls entirely on your shoulders. There will be no one to advise and help. If your decision turns out to be a failure, have the courage to admit it to yourself to avoid similar situations in the future. 9. Trust your intuition. Every day we make a vast number of essential and not so decisions. You will never be able to calculate all possible options and calculate the perfect formula for success. Use your intuition, it is your key to survival. 10. Home is where you are. Everything here is like in the famous quote, wherever you go, you take yourself with you. Your habits will sooner or later make themselves felt. 11. You need to merge with the place you arrived. Whatever city you decide to visit, try to get to know it 100%. Learn the local language, chat with the locals, and taste the national food. Refrain from being the person who follows the crowd of tourists everywhere. 12. Understand what is important to you. You will hear many exciting life stories of the people you meet along the way. You will learn about incredible success stories, from beggarly rags to untold wealth, deadly diseases, and insurmountable difficulties. The list will continue indefinitely. Think about what you could say about yourself. 13. You will understand who is important to you. Your long absence for the duration of the trip will allow you to understand how many significant people are in your life. We often burden ourselves with an intimacy that we don't need at all: artificial relationships with neighbors, friendships with former classmates, and for the show with colleagues. Rid yourself of all this by testing the relationship by distance. 14. Put your phone away. There is something magical about a trip to a completely unfamiliar city. When we travel, we become more receptive, our way of thinking changes, and acquaintances are made much easier. Don't let your phone ruin this magic. 15. Be weird. Life is too short to exist only within the limits that most people consider acceptable. Don't be predictable, and don't do what everyone expects of you. Unleash the weird side that everyone has. Take a chance. 16. There are many things to learn. There's a lot we don't know about the world and the people who inhabit it, their culture, values, language, food habits, and the list goes on. The truth is that most of us live in a very closed world, which includes only a couple of dozen close people and places we used to visit. We do not even try to change the situation somehow, look beyond the familiar world and try something new. We forget that the more we know, the less we know. 17. Don't talk, do it. You can spend all day talking about how wonderful it would be to complete the task and not make any attempts to bring it to life, even the most insignificant. There are many people in the world whose work is 10 times harder than yours, and at the same time paid 10 times less. Most of us cannot even imagine what is hidden under the expression hard work. 18. There is no such thing as a stranger. You will stop seeing people as mere strangers. When meeting fellow travelers in hostels, you will begin to catch a kind of mental connection between you, which is impossible to explain, but easy to feel. 19. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It will take time to understand there is nothing wrong with being vulnerable and showing temporary weakness. Sometimes it pays to let your emotions out. The ability to admit your mistakes and correct them characterizes you as a strong personality rather than vice versa. 20. Look at people without masks. One of the most wonderful things about traveling is the people around you. When social restrictions and conventions do not constrain them, they are revealed from a completely different side. You will have the opportunity to find out what they really are. 21. Smite everyone with your kindness. It is much easier to break loose on a person than to try to understand the situation and respond adequately. Try to be generous to everyone, and you will definitely not regret either the saved strength or the saved nerves. 22. Take books with you. While traveling, our brain is more receptive, which can positively affect your level of creativity. Read during flights, transfers at the airport. While hitchhiking, you can easily master a book a week. 23. Make spontaneity your other self. During the trip, there will often be situations when you have to change your plans radically. Learn to be less conservative and be prepared to make spontaneous decisions. 24. Look for like-minded people. We all know this quote: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. In difficult times, you will be comforted by the thought that there are quite a few people in the world who share your views. 25. Show kindness. The easiest yet most powerful way to make the world a better place is to show kindness to strangers spontaneously. 26. Empathize with those who really need it. It is hard to sympathize with people who complain that their restaurant reservation was canceled for unknown reasons or that they got an uncomfortable seat on the plane. Traveling the world, you will meet many hard workers who, earning less than $5 a day, also manage to help their families. They don't have time to whine and complain. 27. Invest in yourself. On a solo trip, your number one goal should be taking care of yourself. Take the opportunity while you can. 28. Set global goals. Set yourself some ambitious goal that will benefit not only you. This goal will be a guiding light when facing life's difficulties and obstacles. The essence of the global goal is that you will go towards it to satisfy your interests and not let down the people who are counting on you. 29. Know how to stand your ground and know how to admit defeat. Be brave enough to stand up for the beliefs you believe, but also have the strength to admit that you do not have answers to absolutely all questions. 30. We are all just people. The irony of travel is that we strive to explore as many different cultures and communicate with as many people as possible so that when we return home, we understand that all people are the same. The poor, the rich, the Asians, the Hispanics, we all play the same game called life. And we all want the same thing: love, respect, and a secure future. Thanks for watching to the end. Subscribe to the channel and like this video if you haven't done it yet. Also, turn on notifications on our channel to catch all new videos. Bye.